Hey everyone, welcome back to another Fortnite Save the World video. This is a quick video about Twine Peak's new build. What to expect, what will happen, and what you need to know. Plus a full detailed video about general important points for Twine Peak's endurance. I will answer a lot of the questions I get a lot about Twine Peak's endurance. There will be timestamps for the video, feel free to jump to the parts you need. So, if I sent this video to you in the comments, the answer you need will be here for sure. Sometimes it's not simple to explain some points in the comments, a detailed video is much better. I will explain few points first, then we'll start with these questions. So, as most of you already know, I was working on some new builds and edits for Twine Peaks, the 2025 new build. A full build from scratch. New build videos for some amplifiers, plus rebuild videos and all the edits for the rest. But I had to delay it, we all know why. After the latest updates in the last 2 to 3 months, endurance becomes so buggy. Nothing is constant. For example, this loop bridge works well for few runs, then start getting issues. So, I replace it, and the new one works well, few runs, not anymore. So, I go to the older one, works well for few runs, then, you know the rest. And from what I see, we will have that for a long time. The current state of the game is not the best right now. We all know how Save the World is treated nowadays. I already explained why in this video, why they don't update the game and fix bugs anymore. Check it, you won't regret it, believe me. But now what? I still want to post the new edits, builds, and ideas. And I need to rebuild from scratch for the New Year playlist. The old one works well still, don't worry. But it has a lot of update videos. And people don't love that many update videos. I can start with the new builds right away, no problem. But the thing is, few game updates, and I will have to update the build, again. We all know how these game updates change how endurance works, especially the loop bridges. I thought of everything, I tried a lot of different ideas, and the same result. The best way is the update videos. When I make a video to show you the needed edits and changes a few minutes, then show you a gameplay for these edits, to show you how it works. And to be honest, I see it the best way to show you the changes. All you need is to change few things, and that's it. Some people ask me to rebuild the whole build every time I change something, or even better if I don't update the build that much. First, rebuilding the whole thing every time I want to change something is almost impossible. These videos take a lot of time to make. And more time to test. Plus not everyone wants to rebuild the whole build every few months or weeks. I explained these 2 points in details in this video, but a lot of people missed it. So, to conclude everything. 1. I will start with the new build. I will start testing again and do a lot of changes before posting anything. Last few updates changed a lot of things in the game, so I need to do more adjustments. I will just wait for the next update. Mostly, they fix a lot of bugs in the update following the main one. The main update was Chapter 6 update. So, the next one should fix a lot of bugs in the game. But if not, still I will go with the build, then update it if needed. But don't accept the whole Twine base in 1 week. I will try to finish them as fast as possible. 2. As I just mentioned, update videos for the build. There will be always update videos if needed. So, if you build a specific build then you got something wrong with it, if it need any changes, make sure to check the playlist on that video description. I always add the updates videos there. And if it's not there yet, and the build really needs one, for sure I'm working on it. 3. The most important thing. Mostly, I will be building the new base while we still have weird things about endurance in the game. So, you might need to change the loop bridge or the block-offs a bit. As you all know, when it comes to Twine endurance, every base is a bit different. This loop bridge works in your base, but not in your friend's base. That block-off works with your friend's base, but not yours. Not a problem, don't worry. Most of it is just few changes like 1 or 2 loop bridges or block-offs. I always explain these changes plus any extra needed changes in the build or the update videos. A lot of talking I know, but I have to explain everything. Now, let's start with the main questions I get a lot about Twine Peaks endurance, and some other questions about all the endurances in general. Note that I will refer to other videos while explaining some of these questions. Some points need separate videos to explain. So, it won't be fair to just mention few information about them when I have a full detailed video already. Plus this video is already long enough. Question 1. Do traps perks really matter? Or can I just use random perks on my traps? When it comes to Twine Peaks, perks are very important. I'm not saying you have to use the exact perks I'm using. Just use perks that suits the build if you know how perks work, and how to perk up your traps. Not random perks. It becomes a bit tricky in Twine Peaks, since it's the hardest endurance in the game. Because some wrong perks can cause a lot of issues. For example, when you use full damage perks with a recycle build, that will cause issues. Then you use recycle low damage traps with a damage build, the husk will reach the amplifier easily. Or using full impact sound walls trap for example. It can drive smashers crazy sometimes like I explained in this video. And so on. For other bases like Stonewood or Plankerton, even Canny Valley sometimes, you can just use the perks you have no matter what they are, but use a high traps durability ratio plus full durability drop traps for the spawn cover. That will do it. But at Twine, it's very different. So, in general, use good perks that work with endurance builds. But if you don't know which perks to use, I recommend using my perks. I see a lot of people spamming a lot of traps they got from somewhere or won them in a giveaway and call it a day. Then they start complaining, why my endurance can't reach wave 30? Why can't I place more structures in my base? Well, spamming traps not good as you think. First, with wrong perks, they may cause issues. With bad perks, I mean perks that not the best for endurance. Plus spamming extra traps you don't need will consume your build limit fast. Which brings up to question 2. Why I can't build anymore in my base. How to do this update you just posted. I don't have extra structures left. I don't have enough structures to finish my last amplifier. And more questions like that. And the simple answer is, your base is a negative base. Traps count as structures as well. So, spamming traps will consume your remaining structures, even if you place them on existing structures without placing new ones. Still count. I explained this point further and what to do in this video. People just think using level 144 traps will fix everything, which is not. And this leads us to question 3. Do I have to use level 144 traps for Twine Peaks endurance? The simple answer is no. Level 130 traps are more than enough for Twine Peaks endurance. Yes, level 144 traps give more damage, but 130 still will do the job. And for recycle traps like tar pits for example, even level 77 will work. Since we use these traps just to stop, slow, or recycle the husk. But what matters more than the trap level is, your stats. Which leads up to question number 4 and 5. Why my traps can't eliminate the husk? Why the husk can reach the amplifier even though all my traps still existing? Or why my traps disappear or get broken fast? It's because of your stats. The most ignored feature in the game. I see a lot of endgame players don't know how important it is to increase and work on their stats. And if you don't know what these stats are, go to your loadout, down to the right, see all stats. And here they are. All the bonuses and the numbers about your account. Your health, your shield, your damage, and etc. But we only need to focus on only 2 here. Traps durability bonus, so our traps can last longer. And traps damage bonus, so our traps can actually eliminate the husk before reaching the amplifier. Explaining this will take so much time. That's why I made a full detailed video about these stats. Make sure to check it out, it will help you a lot. Also, you can check these stats from your survivor squads from there. Even if you are in a mission. Go to your inventory, load out, and here you go. Question 6. Do I really need to build a loop bridge or an amp design around my amplifier? Yes, for 2 reasons. 1. Smashers. Your tunnels may be able to eliminate smashers during the early waves. But when it comes to late waves, it's almost impossible. So, the loop bridge or the amp design is the way to go to control them. 2. Mini bosses. Most of the times your tunnels won't be able to eliminate them. Even sometimes during wave 5. So, a loop bridge is a must to loop them. Yes, some people hate them. Like one time I went over a long conversation with someone about how it is important to use a loop bridge for Valley Amplifier. And all he thought about is how to make the bridge looks nice. Like to use a star or a heart around the amp. So, please, make sure to build loop bridges and amp designs. You don't know how much time I spend just to get a working one. So, please, don't replace them with hearts and stars. Question 7. Can I build a mats grinder in Twine Peaks? Well, this is a tricky one. The answer is yes and no at the same time. Yes, of course you can build anything in your base, but I don't recommend to. Because a mats grinder costs a lot of structures, and you may get a negative base like I explained before. Some people have max stats, so they don't use the extra parts 1 build, since their traps will deal a lot of damage and last longer. But some people add them, so they will have less structures left. And yes, you can pass the build limit. But once you want to edit or change something in your base, you can't imagine how hard it will be. Let me just say I saw someone had a negative 1000 base. Imagine he needs to destroy 1000 structures or traps just to be able to edit one wall. One single wall in his base. That's why I don't recommend passing the limit if you don't know what you are doing. Or just don't pass it in general. Believe me, no need to. Someone gave me an idea, which is only one material grinder. Like a mats grinder for metal or brick only. Which cost only 1/3 structures of a normal mats grinder. Which is very nice. This one actually you can use in Twine Peaks. I haven't finished it yet, but once it is done, I will add it here. But why I don't use these cheap builds when you do weird edits, which cost less structures? That leads us to question 8. Why I just don't use these bugged builds? Simple, you just said bugged. That's not how we should play the game, or any games in general. I don't use these bugs or glitches. That's why Wave 25 is not fully AFK with my build, because you need to destroy the UFO. One thing I want to clear. I don't have any issues with people who use these builds, not at all. Enjoy the game the way you like, no problem with that. We play the game and have fun in our ways. But don't ask me to use these builds. Question 9. Why I use a lot of block-offs for some amplifiers, pit amplifier for example. We use block-offs to force the husk to follow a certain path, for many reasons. For example, with pit amplifier, we can build the tunnel in the middle, and add damage traps. Which is a good idea. The tunnel will be cheaper. But when the tornado spawns, it will wipe the damage build we just built. So, we have to build the tunnel away from the tornado spawn location. And to make sure the husk will follow this path, we need a lot of block-offs to force them to follow that path. Another example is bridge amplifier. I use a lot of block-offs to force them to follow a certain path to be able to push the husk in the lava. To make it a recycle build, instead of a damage one. And so on. And sometimes I add extra block-offs. Block-offs that you can remove. But why is that? To know that, let's see question 10 first. Why the husk just sometimes ignore the main tunnel and go to the block-offs and start destroying them? Even sometimes they go and destroy others' tunnels block-offs. It's because you are standing in the wrong spot. Yes, husk, smashers and mini-bosses will try to reach the amplifier to destroy it. But when you stand near them, like near the spawn, on top of the tunnel or near the block-offs, they will spot you. And they will try to reach you, not the amp. That's why it's so important to avoid standing near these spots. Stand at the AFK spot or the observation spots I explained during the build videos. And that's another reason why I add extra block-offs. Some people forget and move around during endurance in ways that can trigger the husk to change their path. So, these block-offs will help, but not completely. If you stand at a wrong stop for a long or if you went too close to the spawn, no matter how many block-offs you add, they will try to reach you. Plus, as I mentioned, every base is a bit different. Your base requires 7 layers of block-offs, another base requires 9. I build a base that works for everyone, not just few people. One more thing, smashers require more block-offs. So, if you build 3 layers of block-offs for example and they manage to stop the normal husk, doesn't mean that they will stop smashers and mini-bosses. Question 11, which is a general one, not specific for Twine Peaks. Can you build my base? Can I pay you to build this for me? Can I pay you to give me free items? And he best one, my endurance is not working. And when I asked what happened, they don't know. Which wave this happened, they don't know. Can you run it again and check the issue in which wave it happens? They can't. Are you using the right perks and traps? They don't know. What is your trap's damage and durability ratios? And you know the rest. So, what I'm supposed to do? And they say, come fix it, simple as that. Like I will contact Epic Games, get your game logs, and see what happened. I get these questions a lot, and mostly you know the answer. I used to join others' bases to fix it. Like if they have certain issues, or can't figure something out, I can help. I love to help, so why not? But lately, I get a lot of messages to check others' bases. I try to, as much as I can. But I can't keep up. Checking and fixing one base can take 30 minutes or even more. To be able to check all the base and do any required changes. That's why I can't check all the messages I get in time. Same thing with Discord direct messages. I get a lot of them lately as well, and can't check all of them. So sorry for that. Right now, it's only me working on this channel, the Discord server, and the TikTok. I try to keep up with all of them as much as I can. A lot of people suggested to get some help. Like some mods for example. I thought a lot about that, but for now, I prefer to keep things as they are. From what I saw, mods can do more harm than help if you don't really know them. Especially in this game, from what I saw. I don't have any in real life people or friends that I can trust with all of that. That's why I love to handle everything myself. At least for now. So sorry if I can't answer all your message and comments. But for now, I make sure to check all of the YouTube comments. I never leave one of them, unless I miss some of them. Sometimes YouTube comments get bugged or held for review so I can't see them. Question 12. What to do if propane start destroying everything? 2 reasons here. First, if the propane health went too low, it will destroy itself. So, adding more sound wall traps will fix it. But if not, and they destroy themselves with full health, they just destroy any structure they spot. This issue is related to the loot bridge. Very weird I know. But propanes work just like smashers. They follow the loot bridge as well, and if they don't recognize the amp at all, they start destroying everything. Mostly this issue happens at the same time with the smashers issue. So, the fix is the same for both, and for the question number 14 too. Which is, what to do when lobbers start throwing skulls on my build and destroy it? I mean the build itself, not the amp. Even if you added a lava shield, they will destroy it too. Same issue here, related to the amp and the loop bridge. Same fix as well. Question 13. This is for people who is still lost. What if you got issues with your endurance and you don't know what to do? Follow these steps. And the first thing you need to do is to identify the issue to be able to fix it. When you run your endurance, observe what happens and which wave it happens. Let me give you an example to make it simple to understand. You started your endurance and suddenly during wave 28, this issue happened. Now let's identify what is the issue here. 1. If the husk follow the path normally and everything is good, but once a smasher spawns, it goes crazy charging inside the tunnel destroying everything. Same thing for the mini bosses. 2 reasons for that. It will be something that triggers them. Maybe a wrong wall or ramp. And to see it, you will see them going crazy till they destroy a specific part, then they follow the rest of the tunnel normally. Well, this part is the issue. All you need to do is to recheck this part, make sure of the block offs and you didn't miss or add anything extra. But if they go crazy and destroy every single wall, then they go to the amplifier, mostly it's the loop bridge. It's because they don't recognize the amplifier at all, so they go crazy on everything. This applies to lobbers and propanes too. So, recheck it and make sure if you are using the latest version I posted. If still, this means you need a different loop bridge. Mostly I will post a new one soon if it is a general issue. But if not and you are only the one having it, it's simple, don't worry. Go back and try an older loop bridge from the ones I posted before. 90% of the times it will fix your issue. Same thing applies if the smashers and mini bosses keep destroying your loop bridge. An older version will help. 2. What if it's not the smashers or the mini bosses? They husk just go normally but they reach the amplifier. Maybe because your traps can't eliminate them or they got broken already. It's your traps damage or durability ratios. So, increase them as I explained in the previous questions. But what if they ignore the tunnel completely, they just go and destroy the block offs? 4 things to do here. 1. Recheck the block offs. Make sure you didn't miss anything or built something wrong. 2. Make sure you are not standing on the wrong spot to trigger them to follow you, not the amp. 3. Make sure you didn't add any edited walls inside your tunnel, or you made it longer, because a longer tunnel or tunnel with edited walls inside requires more block offs. 4. If you did all of that and still have the same issue, just add the extra block offs I mentioned during the build videos. And for plasters, pitchers, zappers, and the small husk. These will always try to reach you, not the amplifier. So, make sure to stay away from the spawns and the block offs to avoid any issues from them. The AFK spot or the observing spots will always be the best to avoid them. But what if everything is good, and it's only the flingers and lobbers can throw and hit the amplifier? Simple, all you need to do is to expand the lobber shield or add one to cover that specific area that they use if you don't have one there already. Last issue is when lobbers and propanes start destroying everything. This will sound weird, but it's the fix for this is the first fix I mentioned for smashers. They can go crazy to destroy a specific wall or floor. And if the bridge is not the best for your amp, they will ruin everything, just like smashers. So, the same fix goes for all of them. Smashers, lobbers, mini bosses, and propanes. Follow these steps and you will be able to fix your issues easily. One more thing to do is to use a good constructor loadout to help you with your endurance. But this is not an issue, so I will make another video for the things that can make your endurance or any mission in your base in general much easier. Like storm shield defenses in war games. Question 15 is me asking you, what would you love to see next on the channel, and if you have any ideas, leave them in the comments, I always check them. That should cover everything. I tried to cover everything as much as possible. And if I forgot something, I will leave it in the description. If this video helped, don't forget to use code Larsis in the item shop if you want to support me, helps me a lot. Big thanks for all the channel members, super chat stickers on the live stream, and everyone uses my creator code, really appreciate your support. Like, subscribe if you are enjoying the content, helps the video to reach more people. Hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, see you in the next one.